Hosted by Silicon Valley, TiEcon is the largest conference dedicated to fostering entrepreneurship. This 23rd edition of the conference focuses on the future of cloud and IT, data economy, and Internet of Things, as well as trending tech, social entrepreneurship, youth entrepreneurship, and a best practices track for entrepreneurs.
I'm here at TiEcon 2016, the largest entrepreneurs conference in the world, held annually at the Santa Clara Convention Center in Silicon Valley, California. This year's theme is Dream, Change, and Inspire. The conference features breakthrough thinkers, youth, Mentor Connect, VC Connect, TI 50 Startup Awards, a networking app, a media lounge, and evening entertainment. This is a two-day conference. Let's take a look at what's happening inside.
Machine learning and payments and all those things. But what is new this year is we started a program for global entrepreneurs, people who visit us from outside, called Boot Camp, Entrepreneur Boot Camp, with a day-long program. And then the other thing we started this year new is we're calling VC Connect, which is getting 30 VCs and 60 entrepreneurs. So it's a speed dating program where each entrepreneur gets to spend 3 to 5 minutes with the VC. And it's a very efficient way of meeting 30 VCs in 2 hours.
What we have developed at TiEcon is a stabilizer for action cameras. So it has motors and sensors to keep the GoPro leveled. Once you've connected the device to your friend's smartphone, TiEcon will autonomously track and film them depending on their speed and their relative position to you.
Relatus is like a smart CRM, right? So if you look at salespeople, they hate entering data into CRM systems, right? And that's one of the biggest pain points why CRM systems fail. It's not because the system is bad, but because people hate entering data. So what Relatus is revolutionizing is that no sales team member has to ever enter data into any CRM system. So what we do is we collate all your interactions over your emails, calls, SMSs, calendars, social feed, and add a layer of predictive analytics on top of that to tell you who are the people you're losing touch with today so that you connect with them today. Which companies you need to reach out to today so that you don't lose revenue. And who's the best person who can connect you to somebody else based on your interaction history. If you look at it, right, LinkedIn is a great platform to connect. But once you interact with someone on LinkedIn, your interactions actually move out of LinkedIn over emails and calls. So now let's say if you want to connect with someone, if you search for someone on LinkedIn, on Relatus, Relatus will give you 3 most effective people based on your interaction history and who can connect you to somebody else.
A couple of Indian and Pakistani entrepreneurs have come to the Valley to mentor and network with amazing investors and entrepreneurs in the Valley. I work with Akaya. So Akaya is a social enterprise which is enabling the financial and technological inclusion. We have created digital passports which we are using to scale in rural communities. Our goal is to empower artisans and daily wage earners, which we do through savings and financial inclusion and different commerce enabling platforms.
What we saw in 2014 was that the next billion people who are yet to come online do not understand how the internet works. They have no mental model of what a password is. They don't understand what a text field is. And we realized that the technology, the internet, needs to be redefined and reimagined for these people. That's when we started working on a platform, and we went live in November, and so far we have touched the lives of around 1 million people who have spent cumulatively around 50 years on our platform in the last 4 months. And now 70% of these users are coming back to us, and we're partnered with Telenor, the Telenor group, and with them we're piloting this technology in Pakistan, Bangladesh, and soon in India as well. We're also partnered with Facebook. In fact, we were invited for a closed-door meeting with Mark Zuckerberg last month, right after the F8 conference. And on the conference, one of the agendas of the meeting was that how should we redefine the internet or technology for people who are yet to come online. And we were acknowledged as thought leaders in this domain, but I do feel that this is a domain which can truly change the potential and the future for people living in the bottom of the pyramid. And we can reimagine and redefine technologies for these guys, help them understand how skill building works, and then they can use those skills to become a part of this larger financial economy, this internet economy. They can also tell us the new things about the developing world that we don't yet understand.
So I'm the founder of a company called Pick My Kid. You know how at 2:30 there's absolute chaos in every school. Kids getting out in cars, getting into buses, traffic jams in the neighborhood. About 20 to 25 teachers are with walkie-talkies, clipboards, sticky notes, and loudhailers are trying to manage the whole system. And there's no accountability. And security is non-existent. So what we do is we provide schools with technical solutions to manage the whole process in a very seamless and a very secure manner. Think of it like when me as a parent, I'm driving into the school, there's a digital handshake which is happening in the back end. I'm authenticated, and as I'm getting in the car line, teacher can actually see that in their iPad that I am sixth in the car queue and my child is ready for me to be picked up right there. So that's how, and every time a child gets into a car or a bus, both parents get an instant alert. So keeping kids safer, saving time, and making teachers be more efficient.
Actually, the state of Orissa is the only state in the country which has an agreement with Silicon Valley, and as part of that agreement which is there, we have these exchange programs. They promote Orissa as an investment destination. They mentor the startup units from Orissa. They have a trade portal which will promote Orissa as an investment destination. So as part of that agreement which we have, this is a follow-up of that visit.
Well, I was the moderator in the Cloud VC panel, and we had a general partner from Mayfield, a general partner from August Capital, and also from Lightspeed Ventures, three of the largest venture capital firms here in Silicon Valley. And they all were very optimistic about the space, regardless of what the public markets do. This is a really good time for startups, for software startups generally, and for the companies in the cloud space. So I think it's a great time to be starting a company.
At MIT, we invented this solution called Inetra, which is a snap-on phone that goes into a binocular. You look through it, click on a few buttons and say OK, and it gives you a prescription for your eyeglasses, your nearsightedness, farsightedness, and astigmatism, and it can also scan for your cataract. And as you know, there are 2.5 billion people in the world who need glasses but don't wear them. So this is a solution that can reach, and the company is very successful, has raised a lot of capital, has significant revenues, and is growing very rapidly in India. So we're very proud of what this is able to do in so many ways.
A lot of what TI does all the time, TiEcon, we have kind of some staples, right? The things that we do every year, and then there are a lot of things where we do new ideas. We look for new things to bring also to the audience. So this year we have a lot of new programs that have come about, and I think the more interesting aspect is because of the speakers that we bring every year, they all have different stories to tell. They have different experiences and that they share with, and that's really what the learning and inspiration is all about.
UWeb Incubator was founded about 8 years ago. We're a boutique incubator. We are sponsoring about one company a quarter. So we are now on to our 28th one. We've been around for about 7 or 8 years. And it's a combination of business, B2B sort of software, enterprise software companies. But mostly I would say consumer now, business to consumer companies, including companies that we have here today at the show. 2 of them are delivering hardware consumer products and services. And it's a combination of, based on my background, I was at Hewlett-Packard and Oracle in the enterprise business, and then I did a couple of consumer startups myself as an entrepreneur. So I'm just bringing it all together and offering them funding and mentoring, and 2 of them here are Indian entrepreneurs.
We're really addressing what's happening with what I would call the phygital phenomenon, the bringing together the best of the physical with the digital world. Because as we know, while e-commerce is exploding and has double-digit growth year over year, the physical space, the brick-and-mortar space, is still very important. Amazon has just announced they're opening their 2nd store here in the United States. So being able to bring digital capabilities and what consumers are now expecting from retailers to those consumers very much top of mind for Adobe, and making sure that retailers can keep up with the disruption, stay competitive, as consumers expect more and expect very relevant, personalized experiences across their shopping journey.
So this is my 7th startup actually. The last company was acquired by Oracle in mobile security. And that time in 2013, Internet of Things is something which is just a tsunami heading in our direction. There'll be lots of connected devices, self-healing networks. So I decided to jump on that. And Telesense basically going after industrial IoT. We are doing real-time monitoring of hazardous conditions, and we have dashboards, alerts. So a node like this can sense various sensors and conditions, send it to a gateway to the cloud. From there we can analyze it and alert you, no matter where you are, that something is wrong. Could be a temperature of the sushi which is being transported from Los Angeles to here. It could be the truck carrying gasoline from Texas to here. So for example, imagine a truck is coming with let's say 1,000 gallons of petrol. When it comes here, it only has 600. What happened? Now with our devices, you can tell, and Bakersfield at 3:42 p.m., suddenly it went 300 gallons down. Somebody stole it. So you'll be able to identify things like that in real time.
So the name of the firm is Rubicon Venture Capital. We are a bi-coastal venture capital firm. That means we have an office in Silicon Valley, which I run, and another office that my co-founder Josh Siegel runs in New York City. And we invest in early-stage venture capital deals, all technology. Typically, the stage we invest is what we call late-stage seed. That means the company's probably raised $1 million of outside capital already, maybe less. Sometimes we invest a little earlier, sometimes a bit later. And we'll invest first into about 25 companies there. And so they're each risky, but the risk comes down when you've got 25 in a relatively 2-3 year period. And then we support them as much as possible. And we end up investing probably most of the fund dollars into Series A and B rounds of a subset of those companies. So the risk kind of comes down again. I'd say what makes us different than most VC funds that I've grown up around is that we first raised money from people that we knew, and they were all kind of Silicon Valley ecosystem people to start with. So we've got investment from people that work at places like Facebook, Google, Twitter, VMware, Apple, all those places. And then we raise money from some investment banks that sell the startups. So these guys are really plugged into everything. I would say we've got a nice little Indian mafia going of Silicon Valley people that are, on airplanes back and forth to India all the time. So we have ability to make software for our companies that are in trouble or stuff like that. And now we have a layer of corporate investors. So large companies that want access to the startup innovation, they get to that by investing through us. On our side, our pitch to the CEOs and the founders is say, everybody wants to invest in your hot company. Why should you let us in? Because of our network. We can get you access to all these people. It's very international. It's China, it's Japan, it's Europe, it's India. And I think that that's cool for the founder. You shouldn't just take money. You should take money from someone that's going to help you.
There was a very interesting debate about IoT. Italy is a great manufacturing country. It's the 5th largest exporter in the world, and the 2nd largest manufacturer in Italy. That means we are very much into hardware. So for us it is key to understand how we can digitalize hardware. The IoT is our challenge, and we hope we can be number one these days.
Of TiEcon is the TI50 Top Startup Awards program that recognizes the 50 best-of-breed tech startups from 2,000 pre-screened applications worldwide. World-class companies compete and present their innovative technologies and ideas before they get acquired, merge, or go public. Since the TI50 program started in 2009, it is one of Silicon Valley's most successful programs. In fact, records show that 92% of the startups that participate in the program get funded within 1 year of being recognized. Several Thai 50 finalists and winners have had a $100 million exit, and one company a $1 billion exit.
For me personally, by taking different roles and jobs across an entire company, I think a lot of people, particularly young people, as they're growing in their career, they want just straight promotions. They go up, up, up. But when you do that, you get stuck. Whereas if you get some breadth in your career, then it makes a much broader career longer term, and you can rise to a CEO or a president. And I would not have been able to do that had I not taken a lot of different lateral moves. So that would be the decision that I made.
Kailash Satyarthi Children's Foundation is aiming at addressing the compartmentalized and fragmented policy paradigms in relation to children. We are going to establish the first ever Global Policy Institute on the issues of children, where we are trying to learn from the grassroots practices as well as from the world-class researchers in academia and marry their thoughts at one place. So these policies could be converted into social practices and change making for the children.
VCs, they all combined together, they join, and so we have opened our shop in Odisha. We are interacting with these people, doing B2B business and showcasing our case and interacting with them to get business.
Always been our desire to foster entrepreneurship, and I think what is happening now is we are realizing that the learnings of the last 24 years is something that needs to be shared with a much larger group than just the Indian diaspora. We started as Thai, the Indus entrepreneurs, but now we've pretty much tapped out most of the Indian people in the Bay Area, right? So everybody has been coming to this thing for 20-some years. So now we say, you know what, we've got so much to share, why don't we sort of invite other people to come in? So that's one thing which happened. The other thing which happened is I think after the Prime Minister came to Silicon Valley, he came to San Jose, after Thai co-hosted the Prime Minister's visit, after all of us as the Thai leadership got invited back to New Delhi to help with the launch of the Thai's Startup India campaign, the whole world started taking notice. Because when you have a head of state who's acknowledging that these people are the voice of entrepreneurs, that's really what happened, I think.
First, there are many people here I mentor, right? So I come to support them as well. But I think it's an opportunity from if you look at from Cisco's perspective, we really believe that the next cool idea is a combination of what we do inside the company and what startups are innovating in their own ecosystem. And when you combine these two, we're able to get awesome solutions for our customers, our partners. So we work very closely with many software startups. In fact, we have a Cisco EIR program where we have 27 different startups we've worked in the last 3 years. So it's kind of, we feel that it's important for us to showcase what we are going, where we are going, and also learn from these startups on what they're trying to do and how can we navigate them differently.
In a past life, I've spent my career designing products and services for other companies, anything from spy satellites to smartphones to vacuum cleaners, and had the experience of having Nokia, a customer of ours, tell us that they didn't need our touchscreen technology because they thought the iPhone was not a threat to their business. And you can imagine, after the shock and awe, well, really? Well, what are you listening to now? And they listed all the traditional market research companies, Gartner and Forrester, and we realized that the way those companies measure the markets today, they're not actually paying attention to consumers. And there was an opportunity there to start gathering data and producing results and tools to help companies take advantage of that, especially since the methodologies that we have actually very predictive of where the market's going. So using our proprietary metrics but using public data, we've actually been able to beat Wall Street estimates of iPhone sales almost every quarter for the past 5 years.
I started an app development company in 2006 in India that merged with Caltech in 2012 when we were 125 people company. So since then we have been doing app for largest brands in India and US, just to name Groupon, Flipkart, MakeMarket, Jabong, Snapdeal, Yebi. I can continue to name most of the brands for whom we have done the apps. So that is how it started. I used to attend a lot of conferences and I always saw that no one ever uses a conference app. So I took it as a challenge to develop an app which is actually used by attendees in a conference. And that is how we came first with IIT GLC app in 2015 for IT Global Leadership Conference and then TiEcon in 2016.
So how do consumers use the app? What are some of the features?
Some of the features in app, besides the standard event guide which any app has, there's one important feature which is panel Q&A. When you are attending a session, you can ask questions to the panelist or speaker from the app itself without raising your hand, without passing the chips, and without moving the mics from here and there. And the other attendees can see the questions which are anticipated to be asked and vote on the questions, so that only the most voted and most popular questions are asked by the moderator.
This is a phenomenal conference, and I never really expect it to be this great. Really, when you talk about entrepreneurship, it's all about bringing all the intelligent and smart and charming people in one place. And this is really the greatest means by which to bring people together to advance and to grow this entrepreneurship around the world.
I see a lot of entrepreneurship. I see a lot of people that have taken ideas. They work for a lot of large companies, and then they have their ideas, and they have the courage and the skill to go and start their own business and create some kind of value proposition for the rest of the market. And a lot of people that we talk to have these relevant technologies that they're using, and fascinating to talk to them, and there's definitely that kind of aura of, hey, I can get this done,
I hope you enjoyed TiEcon 2016. These past 2 days, Thai Silicon Valley hosted the largest conference dedicated to fostering entrepreneurship. TiEcon attracted more than 5,000 professionals from 30 countries and focused on the largest areas of innovation. I featured 2 days of immersion into the largest technological areas across multiple verticals, delivered by the leading experts in the world. There was lots of energy on the floor, a company of great minds, networking, different age groups, diversity, emerging companies, and new technologies. I'll see you next year at TiEcon 2017. This is a wrap for this year.